Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Tuesday, 18th March 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Rowley says his dedication to Trinidad and Tobago is unwavering, even though he retires from active politics. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family, yes we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Trinidad and Tobago's outgoing Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says, although he may be stepping down from his role as Prime Minister, his dedication to Trinidad and Tobago will remain unwavering. His statement comes while addressing the People's National Movement's special convention at City Hall on Sunday morning. Sunil Lala of TTT News has more.
That I may be moving away from office in the PNM, but I'm not moving away from my commitment to Trinidad and Tobago.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley addressed the People's National Movement Special Convention for the last time as Prime Minister on Sunday after formally revealing the party's 41 candidates. He said he's proud of the slate of candidates put forward by the party and had some words of advice.
Election is due any time. All the way down to November it's due. You might even have it for Christmas. But just remember, if we do not win the next election, all that our portion will be is an opposition leader and 6 opposition senators. Everything else would have gone to the next government.
Dr. Rowley also criticized the opposition leader for the party's next move to appoint the next Prime Minister, saying that her attempt to stir up hatred has failed.
But coming and talking stupidness now about going to court, because instead of dealing with a ragtag army of ne'er-do-wells, she's concerned about Stuart Young becoming Prime Minister. She has to be concerned. She has to be concerned. And of course, trying to stir up racial hatred in our country about who is of which race and who is of the other race. But we have the PNM.
He said he believes his term in office has been quite a successful one, despite his naysayers.
Nothing else should tell this country something that should. Because they're in your ears every day, everything the government does is wrong. Even fighting crime and criminality, everything is wrong, and then your ears every day, all fall down, this collapse. Never once did I face a vote of no confidence in the parliament. What does that tell you?
And the Prime Minister also had a message to the opposition following its 5 years of seeking an early election.
You have had almost 5 years of annoying people. Every time you open your mouth, it's call the election, call the election. But I noticed in the last few days I wasn't hearing that. When last you hear that? Because you're coming face to face now with election year. And all the PNM can say to you is that the battle has been joined. And who are afraid? Frightened now.
Sonalala, TTT News.
President of the Caribbean Development Bank Daniel Best says changes in the global landscape, particularly the U.S. administration's recently imposed tariffs, are cause for concern. He warns they are likely to have far-reaching effects on Barbados and the region. CBC's Crystal Hoyt has that story.
In the midst of I don't want to say violently shifting global landscape. Not even day by day or hour by hour, but tweet by tweet.
That's President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Daniel Bess, commenting on the recent tariffs implemented by the U.S. administration. While he admits that the trade war ensuing will have an impact on the cost of products coming to the Caribbean, he says it's time for countries in the region to prioritize trade amongst themselves.
This is an opportunity where we draw closer as a region. This is an opportunity where what we speak about with respect to food security and trade and food security and being able to feed our people irrespective of disruptions to global supply chains. Because between Guyana, Suriname, and Belize, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and other OECD countries, we can feed everyone in the Caribbean.
But beyond the effects of a trade war, the CDB president says the reduction in foreign aid is also a major worry, as it signals a reduction in services to which the region has access.
Especially in areas such as early warning systems from the National Oceanography and Atmospheric Association, or NOAA. I mean, as we move towards the Atlantic hurricane season, the instruction for NOAA to cut or reduce interaction with international agencies is a source of concern. So I'm saying all of this to say that we as a Caribbean Development Bank, we have to step up.
Mr. Bess was speaking during a wide-ranging interview outlining his vision for the CDB, the challenges the Caribbean faces, and how the CDB is positioning itself to provide solutions through financing that drive development whilst not leaving future generations with crippling debt. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
In association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The United States is planning to impose a new travel ban on citizens of several countries from entering its shores. According to the New York Times, the Trump administration has prepared a draft list that restricts citizens of nearly 43 countries from entering the United States. This We On News item provides more details.
The list includes suggestions and recommendations from diplomatic and security officials. It categorically segregates countries under 3 different color palettes: red, orange, and yellow. Countries under the red palette indicate that citizens hailing from these nations are completely barred from entering the United States. 11 countries are part of this list that includes Afghanistan, Bhutan, Cuba, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, Venezuela, and Yemen. Now, the orange category has 10 countries that includes Belarus, Eritrea, Haiti, Laos, Myanmar, Pakistan, Russia, Sierra Leone, South Sudan, and Turkmenistan. Now, citizens of these countries might face restrictions from entering the US, but are not totally banned. Furthermore, citizens will be subjected to mandatory in-person interviews for visas. The draft proposal also includes a yellow category that has 22 countries. Now, these nations will have to share information on incoming travelers with the US. The nations on the yellow list will have to address these concerns within 60 days or face the threat of being moved to the other 2 categories. Now, the draft list will be officially released next week, and according to the New York Times, the draft was prepared after the US President Donald Trump signed an executive order requiring the State Department to identify countries that do not follow proper screening procedures.
Kalisha Williams of TVJ News reports that 2 men have been arrested in a $47 million phishing scam in Portmore and Havendale, Jamaica.
Around 5 o'clock Wednesday morning, residents in a section of Portmore St. Catherine and Havendale St. Andrew were surprised by these investigators from the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency MOCA and the St. Andrew North Police. The raids are connected to a $47 million phishing scam which targeted NCB customers. Director of Communications at MOCA, Major Basil Jarrett, said the team went in search of 2 men who are connected to the scam.
Both men were picked up. We also seized a number of items which we believe will aid us in our investigation. The men are expected to be charged later today, possibly later this week. And the investigations will continue. As I said, this is something that has been going on for quite some time now, and we're determined to break the back of this particular cybercrime.
While Major Jarrett did not give the specific details on how the scam was carried out, he told TVJ News that it involved online transactions between the scammers and unsuspecting NCB customers.
We believe that the robberies took place over a period of time between April and June 2022. It's a lot of money that was being moved from the accounts of about 16 customers at NCB to numerous other bank accounts where the money was either withdrawn or transferred to other banks. What I can say, though, is that NCB has been very helpful. They've been instrumental in helping us to break the back of this particular crime, and we encourage other banks to be equally supportive and collaborative when these things happen.
In the meantime, he indicated that there has been an increase in phishing scams since the start of the year, and so he's urging Jamaicans to be careful.
It's almost like a cat and mouse game where we are always one step behind these individuals. They're very crafty, they're very clever, and it is a challenge for us to keep up to date with the newest techniques that they're using. And that's why we encourage persons that when you see these things happen, don't keep it to yourself, report it to the banks and report it to us as well.
It's also believed that due to the sophistication of the scam, more individuals are involved. Now, phishing is a common type of cyber attack. Cyber criminals trick people into sharing sensitive data by sending them emails or text messages purporting to be from reputable companies. Kelisha Williams, TVJ News.
Kenya allocates 2.5 billion Kenyan shillings more to support Haiti mission. Details in this Citizen Kenya television report.
And the Kenyan government is once again under scrutiny over its repeated requests for funds to support the Haiti peacekeeping mission, despite earlier assurances that taxpayers would not bear the cost. In a supplementary budget currently before the National Assembly, the Liaison Committee has approved a 2.5 billion shillings request to fund the mission. And this follows an earlier request of 2.1 billion shillings, which the Treasury said would be reimbursed by the UN. The situation worsened after US President Donald Trump froze 1.7 billion shillings meant for the UN Trust Fund, casting doubt on Kenya's deployment funding, as Emily Chebet reports.
The debate over who is funding Kenya's Haiti mission refuses to fade. The deployment of 200 Kenyan police officers to the Caribbean nation was met with resistance from sections of Kenyans who argued that the mission was not a national priority. The government has consistently defended the multinational security mission, insisting that its financial burden is being carried by contributions from member nations. However, despite repeated assurances that Kenyan taxpayers would not foot the bill, the government is now seeking an additional 2.5 billion through a supplementary budget currently before the National Assembly. This comes after an earlier request of 2.1 billion Kenya shillings, raising fresh concerns over transparency and priorities.
Badala ya kulia that the American administration has withdrawn USAID in order to now cover that gap. Our advice would have been very simple. That you withdraw our Haiti children. Withdraw them.
On February 4, 2025, US President Donald Trump announced a freeze on more than $13 million in funding for the International Security Force assisting Haiti in combating armed gangs, a move that sparked concerns over the welfare of Kenyan security officers deployed there. February 5th, 2025, National Security to the President, Monica Juma, assured that there were sufficient funds in the UN Trust Fund, estimating the contributions from other countries to be around $110 million. February 6th, 2025, in a surprising turn, President William Ruto tweeted that he had spoken to U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who confirmed that the multinational security support mission in Haiti was exempt from the border freeze on U.S. federal assistance. Emily Chebet, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.